Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be the name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be the name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be the name. You tell me, say, make I know that everything's gonna be okay. You are the father to the fatherless, the miracle working God. You make the blind man to see. You made the crippled man to walk. You are the lily of Galilee. You make impossible possible. Hallowed be the name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be the name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be the name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be the name. Lord, you are the most high. Hallowed be the name. I woke up strong on a Monday. I go to gym on a Tuesday. Then to the studio on Wednesday. I won't get out till Thursday morning. I'll be chilling on a Friday. I play some shows on Saturday. If you ask me what my best day is, it's when I praise you on Sunday morning.
We want to say good day and welcome to Family Connection International, the program Keeping in Touch. We are here every Sunday at this time on 6 p.m. on the East Coast. We want to say wherever you join us from, happy Father's Day to all fathers around the world. And I have Ben and Levi's behind the scene today. Ben, happy Father's Day and welcome.
Happy Father's Day to you, Brother Solo. It's a blessed thing. One, to be a child of God, and then in addition to that, as a blessing from God to be a father. So I say happy Father's Day to you and to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to them.
Good. You are a father, man. What did you get from your son today?
You know, words are inadequate to describe what is gotten from my son, who thoughtfully sat on his own and made a composition or made a statement that is very, very inspiring and powerful, beside other things that we had to do along the line, you know? It's almost like a form of commitment that you held my hand when I was getting up, or when I was growing, when I was born. You held me in your arms. I'm going to be with you. I want to be there to hold your hand, meaning to say it in my old age, you know? I have somebody that I can depend on to hold my hand, to show me the way in walking, as I showed them the way to walk. So that was very powerful.
Great, great. At least you can appreciate that as a dad.
Definitely.
A role model who is leading him in truth. And to those who just joined us tonight, we have a guest who is a 30 years dedicated community organizer, including 20 years of social welfare service delivery career with the city of New York as a deputy director. He's a father, a husband, an all-around family man to his hundreds of relatives, many of whom he grew with as his siblings. He resides on Staten Island, New York. He has served as in a community in many capacities. Community Board 1, 2014 till now, trustee, New Life Church of Staten Island, board chairman, National Bombay County Association, CEO, Giving Back Foundation. He's a former president of Staten Island LeBron Community Association from 2008 to 2012, board member EULA, former president National Bombay County Association in America 2003 for New York chapter, senior class president University of Liberia 1995, board chairman United Clay Association in the USA, 2010. And men president New York New Life Church of Staten Island 2000 to present. His achievement, the LeBron Community Center, Staten Island, New York, 2011, community space for displaying cultural foodstuff and artifacts, raising over $3,000 to help establish the first college in Bombay, Liberia. He's been awarded scholarship. They have awarded scholarship to top student in Clay, Bombay, Liberia. He also a recipient of U.S. Congressional New York City Organization Award. Professionally, he has a diploma in maritime port management from 2009. He has a BSc in economic demographic at the University of Liberia, 1996. Master's degree, City University of New York, 2004. Honoree as Father of the Year, a special father for many churches, including New Life Church, First Assembly Lutheran Church, Trinity Baptist Church, First United Christian Church, Better Community, among others. And tonight, we are honored to have with us no other than Deacon Tele Brown. Deacon Brown, I want to say thank you so much for accepting our invitation and welcome to our discussion tonight. I want to say happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Solo. Thank you, Brother Ben, for the opportunity. I'm humbled to be part of your Family Connection International tonight, and I think it's a good thing. It's a good public service you provide. So being here, I'm indeed humble, and I'm very appreciative.
Great. I know you are a family president. By the way, how's the family doing?
Yes, we are fine. We are fine. Very busy. Yesterday ran around so much. To today, we cannot even celebrate as we really desire to celebrate because we're busy with family members in Philadelphia and other places yesterday. So today we are just relaxing more or less and observing the day as it goes by.
Great. Just to give you a background, we started this whole initiative during the COVID. So it was like at some point in time, we want to know how people are doing during the lockdown. And so I just want to ask, I know COVID is kind of winding down, we're celebrating the victory. How was it like with you, your family during this COVID?
Yeah, COVID was tough. Was tough. Not just because it controlled our lives in a way that we did not expect, but we lost close friends that really we we grew up with, we did a lot of things with, and to have see them succumb to COVID was really touching. So it was not a good thing. A lot of friends, relatives, loved ones that we personally knew we lost. So COVID indeed had an impact. Personally, we are thankful that we were not touched. We continued doing our own tests, and thank God for every test that we did. It was negative. COVID
Right.
indeed changed our way of life. It changed our way of life, like many other people, changed our way of life.
Yeah, now it's a new normal. I don't know. There's no more talking, no more kind of handshaking. People are
Yeah.
not used to that. But tonight, if you just joining us around the world, we have with us Deacon Tele Brown. We want to look at the significance of Father's Day. Deacon Brown, today is Father's Day. Give us a background. Why is this all so important that fathers should be celebrated?
You know, the significance of father for me is very serious, and I know people are doing a lot of research on father. What to put it simple, I see the celebration as a way of recognizing, like someone says, giving one's his flower while he or she is alive and can still feel and smell them. Because just not being able to recognize someone for what they have done I think it's a sign of ungratefulness. So I think the significance of this day borders around gratefulness, showing appreciation. But to go further, I'm told our research shows that the day itself was brought about by women. Though it is it's Father's Day, is day that really border around honoring men, really raising the profile of men who have been there. It was brought about by women, and I say women in that a lady brought up by this scenario, brought up by a single mother, is the one who really pushed for this day to ensure that it is today is legislated as a day of significance wherein fathers are appreciated, wherein men are appreciated, and wherein women are appreciated. Because you will agree with me that there are women who are fathering kids, who are doing everything that almost everything that a man would do to raise their kids. And I just want to say hats up to them. Happy Father's Day to all the men and to the women as well who are playing the role of father to ensure that our children really be what they need to be in this world, in this global village.
Yes, Deacon Brown, you couldn't be more right. It's a history of Father's Day in the United States goes back over a century. It was first celebrated on June 1910 in Washington State. However, it was over 6 decades later, in 1972, before it became a nationwide holiday when U.S. President Richard Nixon signed a declaration for it. They said it was 58 years after Mother's Day became an official holiday. So it like they were 58 years they were celebrating mother before they even thought about celebrating a father. Don't you think that's not fair?
Well, I think the very fact that it's important that men rise up, but men, many a time, in my view, forget themselves in many situations. Even the question of health, men forget their health, to take care of their health. Men forget even sometimes their own. There are many important things that men forget. So my view is that I think men were really focusing on honoring the women, because you dare not appreciate your wife in your life. So apparently men, in my view, did not think of themselves, because in many instances men want to appreciate people who believe should be appreciated. We know our wives deserve and always require that we appreciate them. So I think that is why men did not say, "Oh, I think it's my time too." They just continue to give until some noble women, like I mentioned earlier, thought it wise to join ranks with other forceful people to ensure that this day today is in our honors as a day to recognize the value and the productivity of men in the world.
Absolutely. As you rightly said, it's a happy wife, it's a happy home, right?
Happy home, man.
So if the woman is not happy,
Yeah.
you're not coming home. Because I know you need your wife to be happy, to have make sure that you can come in the kitchen and also celebrate and smile at the end of the day after a hard day of work.
So
Yeah.
always be a successful man is a strong woman. A strong woman somewhere, hardworking man, a woman. Because man will never be that successful without having some woman somewhere. So that's why it's important to continue to appreciate women. And I think that's why men chose to just, hey, let it go. Let's keep appreciating these people. They are the force of our homes. They are very much special in our lives. So let's now push for ours. But as long as it took, there was always a day coming, like many other things. I mean, delays usually don't mean denial. I think this is one of the situations wherein delay did not actually mean denial. It was just a matter of time. And thank God it happened. And we can today say there's a Father's Day.
Great. It's a Father Day. It's celebrated to acknowledge the effort of fathers and to thank them for their effort. But I'm kind of concerned. I see single mom do a better job bringing up a child than when a father is in the home. What do you think is the reason of that?
I don't know whether statistically it's a reality. Most homes with
single parents. I think about 70% of them are headed by a single mother. All right, most homes in America, a lot of homes. I'm not sure the statistics, but a large number of homes that are having single parent. That single parent is by 80% a single mother. But also, it is said that it is established that when it comes to homes wherein children are supposed to know the things of God, wherein children are really supposed to lead, the presence of a man, of a male fighter, is always very, very important. And a male factor being in a house even brings about greater achievement to the family. It fills up a greater vacuum. I think women being put in the situation is more or less only because of men not rising up to the occasion. But when men rise up to the occasion, homes are even made better with their presence. But it's just rather unfortunate that most of our homes with single parents happen to be single mother. And we hope that it will change someday, but that is the unfortunate reality that we find ourselves in. And we say hats up to the women. They keep doing a very good job, struggling to raise our hard-headed kids by themselves. In many situations, like you said, Brother Soto, raising the hard-headed kids by themselves. And they do succeed. They do succeed. Send them to school, send them to colleges and other forms of development. But studies show that if the man is involved in the home, the progress is even faster, the progress is greater, and the home itself is even just such that it does so great. So, yeah, it's a good thing, but the importance of a man can never be underestimated when it comes to his role in the home.
Absolutely. A man in the home is very important because our man voice is needed in the home. Because sometimes the mom try to pamper them, at least play around there, gotta pet them for certain things. Sometimes dad don't take all those talk. You gotta scream. And once you scream, they know that dad is in the home. If you just joining us, you have a comment, drop us a comment. You have a question, please drop us a question. We're talking about Father Day today, the significance of the day. Then
Deacon Brown, again, welcome to you, and it's a pleasure to meet you for the first time on this platform to discuss on this wonderful day that has been set aside to celebrate as Father's Day. Good to see you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you guys today.
Great. So, Deacon Brown, if I get you correct, you are a father.
Yes.
Can you walk us a little bit of your experience? This platform is a platform that we share life-changing experiences. Can you walk us a little bit on the journey of you becoming a father, and what is it like to be a father?
Being a father, I would say, is joyous. It can be bitter. It can be challenging for one of a better word. But I think it's one of the joyous things that one can ever uh, find themselves into being a father. It comes with responsibility. And personally, I tell you, mine has been a very challenging one in that I grew up with a lot of siblings.
Okay.
And sometimes, having like 7 or more boys in a 2-bedroom house, that's a struggle. Sometimes you will call it like survival of the fittest. You really have to work your way. And sometimes through everything. When it comes to eating, when it comes to bathing, who gets a bucket first to go and shower, when it comes to going to school, maybe there may be a few pair of sneakers. Who's going to wear that sneaker So my own upbringing, I would tell you, was challenging.
Mm.
Thank God for the upbringing and the challenges that I faced, and I think they prepared me to be the father I am today. And in many, I would say that probably because, and that's a mistake we made many a times, because of our challenging upbringing, we want to translate it to the way we bring our children, and it is sometimes not a the correlation is not great, and taking the top examples, trying to use them on our kids is not healthy, and especially for this society. And I think those are errors. Some of us we did make in we have made in life in bringing our own children, and we hope we did not do that because the belief, like I was talking to one of my kids some time ago. I told him, "Oh, life for me was difficult. I could not afford copybooks, pencils, and all that kind of thing." I say, "Yeah, but daddy, that was your time. In me, I gotta appreciate copybook that, like you appreciated that. And for me, I don't even need copybook anyway. I got a computer, so I think you get it. You get what I'm coming from.
Definitely.
We want to gauge the standard today by the difficult situation we went through, and I think it's not healthy. It's not healthy. It undermines the friendship. It undermines the the new way of bringing up children. It undermines the effort, and I think, but my upbringing was difficult. I think that was difficult. I think difficult to prepare me to kind of live the life I live today, and even maybe to even interact because we went through tough time, and we learned that giving is something good because our parents gave a whole lot, so
Mm.
much so that we had to ask, "Hey man, what's there for me? You give me all of this food, I don't have sufficient to eat. You give me
Yeah.
clothes, I don't have sufficient. You give me sneakers." But I think all of those things help us to learn so much so that we are able to, apply some of those good things we learn in our upbringing.
Great. What a great story that you have to share. Living in a house with 7 siblings, and they are all boys. Everybody's trying to find their way through. Survival of the fittest, as you said, only the strong can survive in the jungle. And you made it. Here you are today, giving us a story of what it has been or what it was like back then when you were growing up. And now you
And
want to instill some discipline in the life of your kids, even though there are some challenges that you pass through, but you don't want them to pass through the same challenges because your experience will guide them to be able to live a better life, even better than the life that you yourself is living now, which is very great. Now, having said that, Deacon Brown, I want you to also walk us a little bit on your experience as a family man. You have a wife and you have children. How is it your role as a husband or as a father in a home? How do you work that along with your wife in terms of disciplining the children when it comes to putting them on the right way?
you know, the the father in the home, that is a role that every household strives for. Every household strives to have the father figure, the male factor in the home. And why it's true that in my home, my wife manages the day-to-day affairs. She, I would say, even the discipline, restraining, controlling, that's her role. So I gave her a lead because normally, if the wife or the husband undermines the role of the other person, it becomes a problem in the home. So in my home, the wife is allowed to play the leadership role when it comes to discipline, when it comes to allocation. But there are roles that are set aside for men,
Okay.
as the husband,
Hmm.
because when the wife is disciplining or is controlling or is managing, she wants to feel that there is someone else, a greater power, a greater force. So many a times she will always say, "Oh, If you don't do this, I'm going to tell your father. So that's the kind of relationship we have. In that, I serve as the ultimate.
Okay.
All right, she does the day to day, ensure that this is done, this is done. But I'm happy that in our home, she has a fallback position. And that is the difficulty. That's a challenge for a lot of homes. That is the biggest challenge for a lot of homes. There is no fallback position. The wife will do everything. They will scream, they will bust their heads, and sometimes, unfortunately, they have to bring in people from other places. They have to bring in law enforcement and a lot of other unnecessary involvement. We have to get into their homes only because the male factor, the man is not there. But in my home, in our home, we do our best to ensure that each person's role is respected, and in as much as she does the day to day, ensuring that things are done correctly, there is always somebody to say, "Oh, if you do not do this, I'm going to tell your dad. If you do not do this, your dad is going to come." And I think it's important, and I think that has helped in a large way in managing our own home here.
Very well said. Even sometimes, if you don't have to do anything for that matter in terms of taking action, but your presence alone makes a great difference in terms of bringing up the kids or bringing up that child in the right way, because the fatherly spirit, it just comes with it comes with authority in the first place. And it is so inspiring to hear that you as a father can even delegate that responsibility to mom to play that role, and you be there as a backup, wherein they don't pay attention to mom, because as it was said initially, if the mom is not happy in the home is not happy at all. So if mom is taking the actions to discipline whoever that they have to discipline, and then it's implemented or being enforced by that, it creates a lot of momentum in terms of coordinating between the husband and the wife to bring up the children in the best way. So I really appreciate that intake from you. Now, I know you to be a deacon from the way of introduction, and you have been honored as a father in different capacities. Can you also walk us a little bit on how is it that people come out, especially nowadays we have churches that come out with selecting people to honor them as fathers, and they do fundraising in the course of that, but that person is actually not playing the role of a father. What is your take on those type of scenarios or situations?
Yeah, I think it is a problem. It is a problem, especially it is a problem in our communities here in the States and even back home in Liberia. There are fathers who are selected not because of roles that they have actually played in the lives of children or in the lives of their home, but because of the financial gains,
Mm.
especially in Liberia and even here. People select, I mean, fathers to be special fathers, to be father of the year, not because of as help that they have provided, not because of other forms of impact they have made in the lives of people. They do it merely because of the financial. The financial, yes, is good, but I don't think it's sufficient. It is
Okay.
necessary, but I don't think that should be that should be a sufficient reason for honoring people only because of you write the biggest check, you maybe give so much offering. I think it should really be beyond that. It should be how many kids have you assisted outside of being honored? How many kids you provided with scholarship? How many kids needed clothes or needed other forms of help? Or whom have you helped prior to? I mean, being honored as part of the year. So in our own case, I mean, in the community we've been involved with a lot of people. There are kids today who are not our own, but because of guidance we provided them,
Hmm.
and some of them have been texting us today, like we were saying, you guys were saying in the background. Some of them are texting, "Oh, Thanks so much for the role you play. And these are things like this morning I woke up after I went and did my wife's car. You know, I think it should have been my day, but apparently she went and did her car and came back. And just to get off the car, one of my goddaughters called me from Maryland. Oh, Uncle Teddy, happy Father. Oh, it just lifted my spirit. It just lifted my spirit. I mean, she and her little sister spoke so kindly, and that lifted my spirit. And these are the kind of reasons why I think people should really be honoring fathers and not necessarily for the financial gain, and which is a problem today in a lot of other places. And like I said, back home, and even in our Liberian communities here. Like, if I even, I may even go further.
Okay.
There's something they call godparents. I mean, it's so common around here in our society. But in the Western society, the issue of godparent is such that it is a serious thing. People don't just take a bunch of 7, 4, 5 people to name them godparents. No, they are people who impact their children's lives.
Yeah.
People who are there, who are able to play a role in the absence of the parent. And I think that's how it should really be when it comes to even the question of selecting people as fathers, as father of the year and special father. Yeah, so I think it should be beyond the financial contributions that people make. Don't get me wrong, the money is good, but money is not really all things when it uh, comes to being a reason for these honorings that people get around.
Thank you so much, Deacon Brown. Well said, and I appreciate it. For those of you that are listening to us out there today, this is Family Connection International on the forum, keeping in touch. And today we are discussing the importance of a father in the home, as today is Father's Day. Right now, let me turn the floor over to my colleague, Mr. Carlos Solomon Fassad.
Thank you so much, Ben. Just letting our many viewers who join us know that this is a 1-hour program. We are here from 6 to 7 Eastern Time. So if you have a comment, as Ben rightly said, drop us a comment. If you have a question, don't hesitate. I just want to make a follow-up from where Ben and Deacon Brown. What requirements should a church look for in an individual who has been considered to be the father of the year?
I think, in my view, like I began to say, it should be the impact one has had in the church. First of all, my church, New Life Church, we've made it our business for years now. Before one becomes a father of the year, you have to be a member of the church. Okay, only members of the church are selected as fathers of the year. Yeah, special fathers may be people from other churches, maybe people from other organizations. And taken from that, the reason is that people who are selected as father of the year must be such that, or should be such that have made impact. Okay, either in the community or has made impact in the life, even in the church. Okay, because you will see that some people only contribute to churches after they have been made father of the year. And I think it should be the other way around. It should be based upon the contributions that one has made in terms of programs, in terms of identifying the resources. And that's where I say you cannot rule out money, but it may not just be money. Opportunities that you may have provided for the community and for the church. I think those are things that the churches should look at, even the potential. Or one may not even be such that is a provider of anything in the church, but even churches could begin to honor people because of the potential. Because that, in my view, that sometimes can even can encourage one to do some of those things that are necessary to continue to be a father or to even be a good father. I don't think one should only be honored because they have kids. Because you will agree with me that, I mean, not all men who make children are necessary father. I think the word father goes beyond just impregnating and stuff like that. Because you know there are deadbeat dads today, dads who do not care to provide for their kids. So it should go beyond that. There should be people who are doing things. I mean, it should not just be people who have already made, who God has blessed to have children. I believe that people who don't have children should also be honored as Father of the Year or even as special fathers.
That's great. Being a father should be a role model. As you rightly said, our deadbeat dad. It's like just make kids and
Yeah.
keep moving on and don't care for those kids and don't even care how they are coming up and how they are growing up. But
And so much in our society today. So much in our society. And that's where, I mean, in the areas we work, you in the social service area, I mean, you know, there are a lot of child support thing around here. Only because people have means to assist, but some just abandon the responsibility of assisting. I mean, of abandoning because it's not assisting. People just abandon it. When I say assisting, I think it's making light of the rule. I think it's more or less people abandoning their responsibility of really taking care of what they bring off in this, which is just it's rather unfortunate. It's rather unfortunate.
and the book of Luke 11:11 said, now suppose one of you fathers is asked by his son for a fish, you will not give him a snake instead of a fish, will he? Which brings me to this point. Being a father as an immigrant is totally challenging. What are immigrant fathers missing out to becoming good fathers to their children?
And that is a serious, serious problem. In fact, generally, parenting in the immigrant community is very challenging. It is serious, and the inadequate parenting, especially fathering or the presence of a father in the home, is a very, very big problem. And the reason, that we've identified is because people coming to this country, first of all, they have no financial background. People coming to this country more or less to seek opportunities. And many people coming to this country do not come with, they may dream big, coming to live the American dream, buy homes, get whatever it is I need to get. But the typical Liberian coming to this country first is to get money. Okay, get money and settle. And that process of getting money and settling, a vacuum is created. And the vacuum is that the parent becomes, and let's say the father, being that the focus is on the father becomes absent because he has to work odd hours. He has to work so many hours to ensure that there is, to provide for the home. Okay, to provide for the home. So in this process of working so many hours, working odd hours, the children miss out. The children homeworks to just go direct. The children homeworks are not checked. The children are not even doing their homeworks. The children are not coming home on time only because the father is busy, sometimes working. And that father just coming to work to make money, to pay the mortgage or pay the rent, creates a vacuum for a lot of immigrants around here. Because like I said earlier, some come, no resources, unlike others who already have it made. A lot of immigrants come, first they gotta work hard to get papers. They gotta work hard to pay rent. So in that process of really working hard to ensure that things happen, the children suffer. They suffer because monitoring is reduced or in fact sometimes absent. Okay, monitoring is reduced or sometimes absent. And as a result, the children become victims of bad influence. They become victims of bad influence. You begin to see the experience peer pressure. The mother's working, the father's working. And like any child, you want to hang out, and if your father is not there to sometimes assess the kind of friends you are hanging around with, you end up being with friends that are not like you. And when you begin to hang around people who are not like you, sometimes it ends up being bad. End up being bad. And experiences are abundant. The experiences are abundant, wherein the presence of the parent was not significant, or in fact was absent, and the kids end up being, below expectation, or end up being problem for community. And I think that's a serious problem in our immigrant community.
So
Which, if we came to this country, we had it ready made, but that's not the situation. We have a struggle, and as a result, our children suffer. Our children suffer.
absolutely. And you work as a social worker. This issue of the system, where you come as an immigrant, you don't know the system here. The schooling system is quite different from where we come from. And also the issue of parenting. When you and I grew up back there, you know that they said you cannot spare the rod and spoil the child. You can't do that here. So
Yeah, so you get a call, they call it abuse, right?
they call it here abuse.
Abuse.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what's your take on the issue? Because it's not easy. It's difficult for an immigrant parent who so much love their kid. And in this place, you can't even talk to them too harsh.
Yeah.
Talking to them and say, "Oh, Dad, get away," and they walk away. You can't do anything.
That's
You know?
and it's a cultural thing, and not just it's a cultural thing. Our way of raising children is different, and the way the Western, I say Western America and other places, the way to raise their children is different, and as a result, we find that a lot of our children are victims of the two forces of raising children. Yeah, we call it too much freedom. Though here, yeah, the city children are entitled to their freedom. They are entitled to say what they want to say. They will tell you just what they want to tell you. They will talk back to you. You know, back home when the parents say move, you got to move. You can't, oh, daddy, but I was sitting on the chair first. No, you can't do that back home. But here, when you get to the lunch table and that child is seated, no, the child is sitting first. You can't say get up. If you get up, you're going to make that child have a bad day. Or they may say, I'm not eating. Only because you told them to change their seat. They believe they were sitting there first. So that clash of culture has really suffered our children significantly. It's affected our home badly. So and the problem is sometimes we do not watch carefully the difference between disciplining and punishing the child. Yeah, back home, I think what we do is, yeah, we discipline, but sometimes punish. But here, they only say discipline and correct. But I think our way of doing it back home, why it's true and sometimes seem tough, I think it helped. It helped a whole lot in helping our children stay straight or stay on the right path. Because, yeah, why it's true, yeah, back home we have the aunties, we have the uncles and everyone else to help raise the child. And of course, the world, it takes a village to raise the child. It's ready to practice back home. But here in the States, man, it's something else. You can scream at your child, like you rightly said. You can't even correct them in a way. It becomes a problem. And as a result, our children are victimized. Our homes are even broken because of that. Only because we are trying to do our best, with intention to correct our children, but they may see it as, oh, because maybe they are going in some school, they are starting some class, they are watching some movie, so their orientation begin to change. You begin to tell them things, they say, oh, but Dad, yeah, I agree what you said, but actually I'm not feeling good about what you told me. So I think that clash of culture has really victimized our homes, has victimized our children. But I think all is not lost. And I think these are some of the things that we as a community can identify and help. There were times those things were done before. There were research being done to see whether there could be culturally necessary way of upbringing children in the community. The efforts were tried before research were done, but things did not fall in place. And we hope for that day when there will be our culture way of bringing children will be adapted here, and because it does help. It does help. It does help.
Great. It really does help. Culture way of bringing children. Let me ask this question before I go to Bang. We'll soon be wrapping up. In the West, we hear certain fathers call themselves stay-home dad. What is your take on the status as an immigrant parent?
Stay home dad. In my view, stay home dad, I think it undermines the dad's ability to provide. And the Bible says if you cannot provide for your home, you are less than an infidel. Infidel is a non-believer. So
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
they are also contributing because they're taking care of the children and they're doing everything, cooking, cleaning the house. Are they
Yeah,
not contributing
yeah,
to the
but
family?
I know that's an economic. I mean, that's a role you, because if the child was going to daycare, $300 a week, that's money you are saving. But culturally, I mean, even the respectability of the man is diminished if you are just. I mean, that's just my view. I'm sorry. I know it's a reality around here. It is a reality. Not to demean anybody. We know that it is a reality for various reasons. Maybe the wife has a significant career. Maybe the wife is a lawyer making all of the money. Maybe the wife is a doctor making all of the money. So they may choose to say that, hey, guy, you can stay home, make a contribution to the house. But the role of the woman, I don't think, can be undermined in that home. I think the man has his role culturally. The woman has a role culturally. And I think it is my view that stay-home dad should be discouraged. If you can just even go out there, do something, sell some cans, do some security job. Hey, back home they say, I think those are in Liberia, they say, Ellen used to say, Papa is coming. Okay, so we are used to daddy coming home, bringing bags, bringing stuff. But if dad stay home all of the time, what are you bringing? So, and what I'm saying is more or less from a cultural perspective. Okay, from a cultural perspective, in the Western world, it's not common, but it's acceptable. But from where we come from in Africa, we believe that the stay-home parent is most time the lady, and not to demean the lady in any way, because staying home is a savings, and I can say it's a lot of money you save by the mother staying home. But daddy staying home, we are not used to it, and I think it's something that is challenging for others to accept. Let me put him there.
I know Bang is smiling. Bang, we gotta go. What's your parting comment? We got 5 minutes to go, Bang.
We are in the Western world, and we need to adapt to the Western culture.
So I want to be a stay-home dad, man.
Yeah, man. Create the conditions that make you to be a stay-home dad.
Yeah, the letters making 3 figures out of 6 figures, right? And some making 6 figures.
That's right. That's all it is. You know, I'm very sure that people that consider themselves stay-home dad, they didn't just automatically become stay-home dad overnight. You know, there is something that led them to be stay-home dad. And as we're talking about immigrant, there are some immigrant families that have some challenges in terms of the process required. You know, and when that process is not completed yet for the person, they have to kind of like be on the standby, taking care of the in-house activities, while the person that is fully equipped to move around and do X, Y, Z, go on doing what they have to do until at which time the so-called stay-home dad that you talk about is well equipped to go out, you know. However, there are also conditions, or there are times that somebody may be equipped enough to the point that they can go out, but because of the family need that is in the home, so it could be an agreement, it could be an arrangement between the wife and the husband. It's okay, because of this type of responsibility that we have, maybe I'm going to take off of my work for this X number of months or for this period of time and look after this home responsibility while you are doing this. So when there is a compromise, when there is an understanding of that kind, I say, hey, so be it. That's why we find ourselves in the United States of America or in the Western world. I know this is difficult for it to happen in Africa in particular, especially for those of us that are from Liberia. Yeah, you always want a man to go out to do something to show whether, for example, even if they are not making anything, but the fact that they went out and came back home,
Bringing a bag or something.
yes, a little thing that they brought back home, that alone is, is very important for them and for the role that they play as a father. So that's something for us to keep in mind in general. Now, in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18, it says, "And I will be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says the Lord Almighty." And then in Psalm 103, verses 13, it says, "As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him." And to take one step further, it says in Proverbs 22, verse 6, "Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it." Some translation will say, "Train up a child in the way that when they grow, they will not depart from whatever training that you have imparted to them." Deacon Brown, you being a man of God and playing a role in the church, before I let you go, what will you say about the responsibility of the church in helping the men or the fathers in your congregation to become role model to their family?
I would say the role that the church can play to bring up, to help fatherhood is indeed immense. It's great. And I think if churches could just discover that role, it will help a whole lot. Because the church is supposed to be places where we go to find solace, find rescue outside of the vicissitudes of life. Having gone through everything else, when you go to church, you want to, church should be like the home, that relaxation. And if the church can begin to bring about seminars, training to ensure that men are being fathers, it will really help the society. It will really, really help the society. And my church does that. We sometimes organize workshop just to, train men to love their wives, train men how to bring up children. Yeah, because of the COVID and other situations and other turmoils that we have gone through, these programs have reduced and they are not as uh, high as they used to be. But there were times the churches used to come together, organize seminar, just men's seminar. And in fact, our church, just last few months ago, we went, just the men went out to just to eat. Okay, because that association, that coming together helps a whole lot. It helps a whole lot because that's where people go to share experiences. And if I have my experiences, you have your experiences, the way I was able to resolve my issue, the way you were able to resolve your issue can help someone else. So I believe that the role of the church is very significant. It cannot be minimized. It cannot be minimized, but churches which have to discover, we have to be, let's say rediscover, because the churches always need a role. It's a matter of doing the research to rediscover what they need to do. And and I know almost every church has men departments. Almost every church, in fact, do they honor fathers today. But then you just go, it should go beyond just honoring the fathers. It should go beyond honor. I mean, having regular seminars, workshops, inviting professionals, because there are studies today on fatherhood. There are courses today people are studying, are doing on how to become a father. Okay, so I believe when churches begin to do the kind of research and bring in professionals to speak to their men, to prepare them, it will help a whole lot. It will make men to be real men who can really provide for their homes, who can provide the leadership, especially in these times when it's so much lacking. It's so much lacking. Churches standing up is indeed going to help men to rise up and fill the vacuum that our ladies are suffering from so much today, that these homes are all being homes of a single parent, and a single parent being what? Single mother.
Wow. Powerful words. Powerful words. The church has an immense role to play in the life of fathers or in the life of a man to help nurture them, to help train them, to help develop, bring their skills of a fatherhood skill to them that they'll be able to implement in their individual homes, and they'll be serving as role model if and only if the church could play that role and play it effectively, it will also help make a great difference in the life of the broken homes. Now, my last question for you is this. Deacon Brown, at your age, being a family man, what is that one thing you wish you would have taught your children that you didn't do?
Uh, well, I will put it like this.
Okay.
I taught them a lot of things,
All right.
but the one thing I would want them to still hold on to
Okay.
is Christ. The one thing I would still want them to hold on to in the midst of all of the challenges, I would want them to still remain in the church. Because I taught them, in fact, I have a 9-year-old. She just turned 9 on. Ooh, she could beat me. She just turned 9 this week. Okay, she turned 9 on day before yesterday. She turned 9. June 18, my daughter turned 9 years old. My prayer and my hope is that after she would have left these four corners, after she would have left the walls, the word of God that we keep exposing her to will still remain in her. What ones that are going today, it is still my prayer and my expectation every day that when they are facing whatever they are facing, let them know that there is still a God who has brought them where they are, and that God is going to take them through. That is something I pray that would not depart my children, the word of God and the reliance on God. And there are a lot of other things. There are a lot of other things. I mean, being real men, hardworking men, being leaders, not being followers, all of these things. We've talked about them. But all of those things, like the scripture says, heaven and earth will pass away, but the word of God shall remain. And that is what I really want to stay with them here and after.
Amen. You just nailed it. And you just nailed it to the point. Thank you so much again. It was a pleasure talking with you on this forum today as I turn the floor over to my colleague, Mr. Fassar.
We just have to go, Deacon Brown. Is there anything you want to say as your parting comment that we didn't ask you tonight?
Oh, it's something I briefly mentioned, which has to do with the churches coming together again, maybe to begin to ensure that our men in the community begin to hold those kind of seminars and workshops where people can get the necessary guidance on how really to bring up their children, on how really to treat their wives, treating their families. Because like I see a family connection, so I think you guys can even begin to think of those kind of programs to ensure that churches, and I say churches because we have other organizations, but those are structures in our Liberian community that have remained. So we will want to really work with them. The men department can begin to come together to organize forum workshop so that men can really be real men again, begin to really learn, or maybe be reminded of their roles so that the homes can become very successful. Because when there's a successful home, there's a successful community, successful society, successful country. But all comes with learning.
Thank you so much for taking up your busy schedule to be with us tonight. And this platform is for the community. Whatever the church is doing, get in touch with us. And whoever want to come on to talk about these things, because we have to have this discussion so our children be able to follow us to know exactly what is happening. Until then, we want to go home tonight, and we'll be back here on Sunday. We want to say thanks to our guests and thanks to Ben. And to Levi, who's behind the scene. I know you're having some content budget, Levi. see everybody on Sunday. And thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You make the